So I'm Brad Leavitt. We're here with Spencer Neal, our Director of Operations, and we're actually sitting here at Marvin. We just had lunch with them and, going through some of the company history today and a lot of the product stuff. But, the one thing about company culture that I feel is very interesting and why I value these trips so much is there is the continuing education aspect of what we do, getting to know the vendors and their production. I mean, relationships are built on these trips, but I think more importantly as a company, you can plan the company outings. A lot of you that follow us know we go to the gym together. Like we do golf outings together. We'll go float the river. We do these other activities, and they're awesome. Like you're spending time outside the office, and you're having these like touch points. And this weekend, a couple of our employees and actually one of our trade partners and I went to like a little brunch. And so those are great where you're kind of off. But what I find unique about traveling is when you're together the whole day, it's just different because there's banter between all of you, right? There's education side, there's long hours, there's dinners, and so you're having these interactions that are very long form. And what I found is some of the best bonding moments I've had with whether I was an employee or now as the owner, like between all of us as like colleagues, like those memories and those trips. I think back to one of our first ones we did to Chicago with one of our vendors and still remember to this day some of the memories and jokes and laughs, because after the dinners we sit and visit. And so, I mean, my perspective is that the bonding is one of a kind when you're able to do these trips and how that impacts. But maybe Spencer, from your perspective, I know we went to Vegas to the Build Show and I wasn't able to participate the whole time, but you guys had some outings. And what do you think changed, from a...
Yeah, I think it's just a good opportunity for people to kind of let their guard down a little bit, just be themselves. Vegas was a good example of where several of our team members let loose a little bit, and other employees saw that, and they're like, okay, I could get along with that person a little more, or I can understand where they're coming from better. And so last night was like another good example. Several of us kind of stayed a little bit later after we had kind of gathered as a larger group and then gone down to just like four of us. And, I was able to open up and share some personal things and let people kind of inside my life a little bit so they could see more about me. And, I heard the comment, okay, I understand you better now. I understand like why you are. And so I think those types of interactions that people have are why we do these trips. I mean, there's the education, like he says, but yeah, it's the banter, Brad teasing me, he's teasing other people. Like it's good, it'd be nice to have the whole company out, but when we have these opportunities, it's really good.
It's funny because I love people. I mean, anyone that knows me, I love building relationships and people and getting to know them. And I think maybe it's because at a young age, I lived outside the country. And so you just get exposed to like different cultures and people's upbringing. I'm always fascinated by the way people are. And really it comes down to that a lot of us are who we are because of, our dynamics, our culture, the people we've been around, friendships and so forth. But to Spencer's point, the reason I react certain ways or my temperament or maybe things I've had is because of experiences I've had, right? And people I've been around. And so as you become vulnerable, like Spencer said, and a lot of times we see ourselves getting very personal. Like I know on the Vegas trip, we went to dinner and even at brunch, like sharing some very personal stuff of like life challenges that we all have. And it makes you more human. And so there's no context in a production meeting or in the office, in 10 minutes that you can have these conversations. And when you open up, it's like people there's a connection because a lot of us have dealt with different things. And so, that's what bonding is, right? It's just you can relate to someone that's probably been through something similar and it just, changes the dynamic a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm a company who's struggling with this. What do I do? From the hip, what are 3 things a company could do to impact their culture?
So I think there's a few things from a company side. I mean, when you look at the core of any company being successful, I speak about this all the time. The 2 core things are you have to have a product that people believe in, and you have to have roles and organization and the systems for them to perform in their job, right at the core. And then it's called the icing, where you have, lunch together, golf, gym, like all these different things we talk about. But I think if you're looking to change your company culture, I am very big on that relationship with brands. Anyone that knows us, we build a relationship with our trade partners, whether it be our subs, whether it be our suppliers. And so if you're looking to change your company culture, start figuring out how to build those relationships with your brand partners, not only from a strategy, pricing, product, education, social media, reciprocation. But here we are on an outing, right, with Marvin. Marvin brought us out here. And as you build relationships with brands, they come and do lunch and learns. They'll come in and have you have factory tours. They'll do outings. I know Kohler Sub-Zero, they have outings where they take them to Kohler, Wisconsin and Madison to go see their manufacturing. And that's how you do it. So where maybe if you're a new company and you don't have the funds to go pay for your whole team to travel somewhere, rely on your vendors that have these budgets and expenses to do that. I know with the Build Show specifically, a lot of the companies that present and show, they have tickets that are free admission that you can get, and some of them will pay for your travel and hotel rooms. So outside of the little things that are pretty tangible, those relationships with our vendors make a big difference. And I know some of our vendors, it's a relationship industry. They'll do fish outings, right? You go fishing. They'll do, golf outings. And these are little things where some of your team can come out and you just start finding ways to bond through that.
Yeah, another thing that I've noticed just being here at Marvin is just seeing their culture and seeing all the things they do for their employees. And they talk about how they have employee satisfaction. I mean, they're a huge company, 8,000 people company, and you have people working in a plant, and they might be doing a monotonous type job, but these people are happy at work because the company's taking care of them. They understand what their needs are. And so it's good to see other companies and how they do it. And then you can go and apply those things and try them out in your own company.
Yeah, it's that. Sometimes it's just by immersion and like sponge factor, you just kind of learn and hear things. I've always found that like in any opportunity, you can download a couple items that maybe you bring back to your company, seeing how other companies who have been around a long time, like Marvin, 100 years, and how they retain. I mean, they have people here that have been here 60 years. Like, how do you retain someone for that long? And so there's just little key points. And again, like we have Adam, who's with Marvin here. We have Megan, they're playing checkers right next to us. They're having an intense checker game over here. And so it's just those little moments at breaks that you have where, it just is that team building. And again, we'll leave here, and I'm sure everyone, Adam and Sammy, who are with Marvin, and Mark, who's with us, you think of the friendships built now as we go past this and we're quoting jobs and working through value engineering and details. Those relationships are there. Now it's just a matter of coordinating the details, and it's a name with the face. It makes it a lot easier. So Spencer and I go way back. I mean, fortunately for Spencer and I, we were in college together 22 years ago. It's probably around 2003-ish is when we met through basketball.
Yep. I tried to recruit Brad to be on my team after he had beat me. So I wanted him on my team.
So he actually approached me in the computer lab, asked me to be on his team. And since then, we built a friendship. And fortunately for both of us, we were graduating in 2005. It was a busy market. And he's from Idaho. I'm from San Diego. We both picked the same company to go work for out of college. And we worked for the same company out of college. I was there about a year. He was there just a little bit longer. And then I went to another company, of which Spencer came to that company. And so we are pretty much our first 6 years out of college, we worked together. Mm-hmm. And then we splintered off when I went to start AFT, and he actually went to work with my brother doing Chef Steel, doing commercial structural steel. And then I stole him back about 8 years after that, and he's been with AFT, 6 years now? Almost six.
Yeah. But throughout that time, even when I wasn't working with Brad, we've always played sports together. We had a flag football team for over 10 years, played basketball a lot. So we've just always
Spencer got me into weightlifting back in 2010, 11, 15 years ago, and taught me how to like lift weights and different things he was training and diet stuff. And so it's that thing, like even though we didn't work together for an 8-year gap, we lived close, we were still really good friends and still would see each other pretty regularly. So and we have kids the same age, so
yep. And he needs me on his team too, whether it's
basketball or AFT. More AFT for sure, even though he's a tremendous athlete.
Oh, about Brad. Wow. I could just go on for like 20 minutes.
Dippin' Dots?
Well, yeah, he's got a Dippin' Dots addiction. He can be the most professional person ever, but he's also he's like a regular person. Like he can joke around. He's got a sense of humor, believe it or not. And he just genuinely cares about people. And probably one of the biggest thing is he just sees people for who they are. He doesn't judge them. Like if you meet Brad for the first time, like he's going to make you feel like you guys are best friends after 5 minutes. And it's just that ability to do that is why I think he's so successful and why he's able to just, have people want to be around him and follow him. I mean, that's like going back to the first time I met him playing basketball, and like there was just something about this dude. I was like he's a winner. I want him on my team.
I think Spencer's one of the like he's one of the most intelligent people you meet. Like he's a quiet assassin in a way, and I mean it in the best way. Like he's very observant. He's probably the most detailed and observant person I've ever met, and he knows his stuff I'll never notice. And then when he says it, I'm like, oh yeah, like he just brings stuff to your attention, and that's whether it's system stuff, whether it's people, whether it's operations. Like I don't think I've known someone who's so meticulous as far as organization. In fact, some of the most successful designers and architects have requested to meet with Spencer on just document control because of his ability to organize. And I think it's pretty rare. He's definitely more meticulous and detail oriented. And when I say he's an assassin when it comes to comedy and like, stuff he picks up on, he will. Like I always tell people, be careful because Spencer's memorizing everything about you. And at some point he will bring that up, whether it be 6 months or 5 years from now, but he doesn't forget. So with company culture, I mean, at the core, it's just, you do have to start somewhere. I mean, the more, and I think sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves to be just evaluating our industry. Maybe it's just construction or design, but learn what people are doing in automotive or learn, manufacturing, the medical side, like see what other companies are doing to build that culture and how they retain, and really just start somewhere, figure out little things. I mean, we understand some things are cost prohibitive when you're an early and new company, but there's other avenues to kind of expand that network. And and again, as you start looking for like-minded people that are driven, and as you bring them in, a lot of it, everyone needs experience, especially what we work on. They're very challenging projects. But at the same time, like even more than the experience and knowledge, and you really have to look at fit.